Tammy was anxious and nervous about seeing her husband and son as she walked away from the helipad onto the walkway. After working for 3 weeks on an oil rig 20 miles from New Orleans, she wanted to be with her husband and 6-year-old son Timmy. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she saw them waving to her. She ran the last 20 feet towards them and hugged her husband before picking up her son and hugging him tightly. "I missed you both so much." "Me too, Mommy," Timmy said, smiling. "You know I did," Tom said, leaning down to kiss her on the lips. Suddenly, she turned around and he kissed her on the cheek. "Let's take my bags. I can't wait to get home." She walked quickly and kept looking back. As they walked down the escalator, Tom saw his best friend's wife waiting in the baggage return area. She was married to Mark, who worked with Tammy on the rig. "Hey, it's Mary. Go say hello." "I need to go to the bathroom," Tammy said, walking away in the other direction. Mary arrived there too late to meet her husband Mark at the security checkpoint, so she headed to baggage claim. Mark worked as a chief mechanic on a rig. She smiled and waved back at Tom and Timmy. "Where is your wife, and have you seen Mark?" asked Mary. Tam made a pit stop, and we didn't see Mark. "Here I come," Mark grinned, slapping his old army buddy on the back and giving Timmy a high five. "Hi, baby." He moved into Mary's arms and kissed her. Everyone noticed how his beard grew in 3 weeks. "Don't look, son," Tom said, turning his son away. He watched them kiss, just like he expected Tommy to kiss. "The bags will come. Let's go look for Moms." Mark went with them, leaving Mary behind with Tammy. "Hello, Mary." The tall, dark-haired woman turned and saw Tom's wife. "Oh, Tammy, hi. I bet you're glad to be home." "Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you for looking out for Mark for me. We worked so hard and for so long that I rarely saw him." "Well, I'm sure our families will get together during your rest break." "Hope so. And here are my husband and son. I'll call you later." In the car, Tom noticed that his wife was unusually quiet. "Everything is fine?" She leaned back and closed her eyes. "I'm just really tired." "You have 2 weeks of rest. Maybe I can give you my special massage later." She changed the subject. "Why is Timmy silent?" He laughed as he looked at his son, listening to his words through his headphones in the rear-view mirror. "He is busy." In the driveway, he pulled her bag out of the trunk and saw her run into the house. Tammy went straight upstairs, closed the bedroom door, and fell face down on the bed. But no matter how tired she was, she could not sleep. Tom brought her bags from the car and saw Timmy already playing video games. "Where is your mother?" Timmy continued to play the game with one hand and pointed up the stairs with the other. Tom had never seen her like this. Usually, when she came home, she was all smiles and full of energy. Her sister had to watch Timmy while she was busy with him for 2 days. He went upstairs and opened the bedroom door. She appeared to be sleeping on her stomach with her face pressed between 2 pillows. She heard the door open and his steps towards the bed. The bed dropped down next to her. "Tammy, are you awake? I love you, baby." Tears flowed from her hidden eyes. She turned around, trying to wipe her tears on the pillow. "Sorry, last shift was very stressful and tiring. Maybe you should leave. You have another offer to work on the ground. It's cheaper, but it's not so hard for you and for us." "Let's not talk about it now. I need a nice hot bath." She turned into his arms and kissed him lightly. "I love you too." Tom smiled, raising his fingers to her left breast. "Maybe we can both take a shower instead. I really need a soak in the bath and Timmy is here." She sat up and walked through the bathroom doorway, making sure to lock it behind her. "Damn," Tom sighed. Something was happening to her and he had no idea. He walked to the bathroom door and turned the knob. She's never locked the door before. He whispered to no one. 30 minutes later, Tom knocked on the door. "Tam, are you okay?" She didn't answer. He remembered the small key hidden above the door frame and reached to pull it out. He turned the key and the door suddenly swung open. She looked out. Give me a few minutes and I'll come out. These are my women's days. She closed the door again. Sorry, you didn't answer and... Dad, where is Mom? Timmy asked from the bedroom doorway. I want her to hold me. Tears welled up from his tiny eyes and ran down his cheek. Timmy, she's very tired and... The bathroom door opened and Tammy came running out, wearing Tom's large gray terry robe wrapped around her wet body. Timmy, here I come, falling to my knees next to him. Tom watched her hug her son. Soon they were both crying. He quickly knelt down next to them and pulled their bodies to his. They remained on the floor. As she and her son rolled over, her robe fell open, revealing red, irritated skin and deeper red marks high on her inner thighs. He was about to say something when he suddenly realized why she was being so quiet. Without saying anything, he stood up and left the room. "Where is Daddy going?" Timmy asked, hearing his steps along the wooden corridor. She turned her head to look and saw that her robe was open enough that he could see the marks of sex from last night. Oh, no, no, no. By the time she got dressed and ran down the stairs, Tom was gone. She quickly called him, but the call went to voicemail. "Please come home. I love you, Tom, and only you. Please let me explain." Tom sat alone on top of a hill in the cool night air, admiring the view of his hometown below. It was almost 8 p.m. He looked at all the lights in the houses and said out loud, "We were so happy. Why did she do this to us?" Tears flowed from his sad eyes as time passed. Finally, he fell asleep and woke up and noticed that the lights in the house below had gone out. 3 damn nights. There's no way I'm going to see that cheating bitch again. He drove back into town, stopped for coffee at an overnight truck stop, and a few hours later found himself in Mark's driveway. He needed answers, and he hoped his buddy knew what was going on with Tammy. At about 7 a.m., Tom sat up when he heard Mark approaching his car. "Hey, buddy, what are you doing here? Dude, you look terrible. Let's go inside." Tom followed the tall, thin man into the house and did not see Mary. "She likes to sleep longer, so let's go down to the basement where it'll be more private." Once they were in the basement, Tom sighed and looked into his friend's eyes. "Who is he?" Mark's face fell and he stepped back. What? What are you asking?" Name of the man on the platform that Tammy slept with. He saw the nervous movements of his body and face. "Damn, you know, right? Damn it, Mark. I trusted you to look after her." Volume. Oh, damn. Things happen on the platform and no one talks about it. We basically worked different shifts and didn't see each other for days. He lowered his head to avoid his buddy's eyes. "Bullshit. I know when you're lying. What did you hear? Does she have several lovers? Hey, you know, sometimes it just happens. You drink and you forget who you are. Oh God, I swear it only happened once." "Damn it, it's you bitch bastard. I have to kill you right now. Damn it, man. I saved your fucking life, and this is how you pay me back. How long has this been going on?" "What's happening?" cried Mary, running down the stairs, hugging her robe around her, seeing her husband and Tom standing over him. "Ask your cheating husband," Tom growled. "You are dead to me. I hope I never see your fucking face again." "Tom, it only happened once. We were drunk and..." "Oh my God, you slept with Tammy," Mary screamed at her husband. "Leave. Now, just go away. Go away. Go away," Mary said with a drool flying from her mouth. He tried to talk to Mary, but she only looked angrily in his direction. "I'll go wash up and pack my bag." Tammy tried to call Tom, but it went to voicemail. Finally, she left a message. "Dear, please come back home. It's not what you think." "Well, it is so, but it was. I can't talk about it that way. Please come back home and I will tell you everything. I only love you and I really need you. Please, please come back home." Tammy cried and remembered what happened the day before. Their team worked 2 straight double shifts and were dead tired when their long period of duty finally ended. The new team landed and got to work, relieving them of their duties. The 8 team members walked to their rooms and collapsed on their beds. Tammy had her own room as she was one of the few female electronics engineers on board. She quickly fell asleep and woke up later in the day to hear a knock on the door. She opened it and saw Mark smiling with a bottle of wine. She was wearing a long t-shirt and panties. "Finally, it's all over. Do you want to celebrate?" he asked. "Yes, but I need to take a shower first to wake up. I'll be back soon." She grabbed a clean t-shirt, sweatpants, and a towel and headed into the bathroom to shower. Since she was on friendly terms with Mark and Mary, she didn't think about not wearing a bra or panties. When she returned, her short brown hair was very wet and soaked her t-shirt, making it stick to her 34B breasts. Mark was wearing nylon shorts and a tank top. He poured 2 glasses of wine. "Phew, it's hot in here," he smiled, seeing Tammy's braless breasts. "Control yourself, big boy. We have wonderful spouses who are waiting for us on land." However, she also looked at him. "It's been too long for both of us." "True, but let's drink to our big bonus, which we will receive for exceeding production plans." They made love. "Oh God, I'm sick," she said before jumping out of bed and running towards the toilet. After washing and becoming more sober, she began to cry. She collapsed on the tiled floor. "Why? Why? Why?" "Tammy, are you okay?" Mark asked through the closed door. "No, please go away, Mark. I'm not leaving until I know you're okay." She wiped her eyes and slowly stood up. "Move back." He stepped back and saw the door open slightly. "Turn around and don't look." He laughed, which was a mistake. "Damn, we just had sex, and now you're embarrassed?" "Wow, we just cheated on 2 wonderful people, and you feel good about it. Bastard, you planned this. You are a great friend to my husband, who saved your life and got Mary a good job in the family business. If he finds out about this, you better get out of town. He will never forgive us. We have to be smart and not give them any reason to suspect us. We both have too much to lose." "Really, what do you think?" "Hey, Tammy, you were in it just as much as I was, honey. Leave. But leave now, or I will scream so that everyone will think that you did not receive my consent to this." He quickly left. For the rest of the ride home, they stayed away from each other and did their best to appear normal. When the helicopter landed, Mark walked up to Tammy. "I'm sorry." "Yeah, me too." Timmy knew something was wrong. His mom cried all the time, and his dad disappeared. His mood changed, and he often became angry. The next day at school, he threw a tantrum and pushed another boy. Tammy was still trying to find Tom when the school called. What did Timmy do? She did not try to contact Mark or Mary and was not aware of their conflict with Tom. She knew that she had to show Tom that she was ready to do anything to save the marriage. She picked up the phone and called her boss. "Mr. Stevens, this is Tammy Upton. I'm calling to let you know I'm leaving work." "No, sir, this is a private matter." "Thank you, sir." "Yes, please send my check and bonus home." "Yes, I promise to call you if anything changes. I will send my resignation letter this week. Goodbye." She sent Tom a message. The school just called to say that Timmy is behind violating at school and pushing another boy. He feels something happening. "I left work today. I will do everything for you to come home. Timmy, and I need you." Tom crossed the river and drove northeast along country roads for a long time, and then sat on the west bank of the Mississippi, throwing stones into the flowing water. He stopped at a small store in the middle of nowhere, and an old lady with gray hair and green-brown eyes was kind to him. He guessed that she had been one of the riverboat queens in her youth. She saw that he was upset. "Who is she?" "My wife." Finally, he found someone he could talk to. Over the next hour, he told her about how Tammy cheated on him with his best friend Mark. "I think it was just one time and she was drunk, but one time is too many. She seems to be suffering more than I am, if that's even possible. But I don't think I can ever forgive her, but I don't want to lose my son in case of divorce." How far is it to the river? She explained how to get to a quiet place along country roads. The box of beer was almost gone, and so was his mind. He never thought that Tammy would cheat on him. His mood ranged from anger to sadness and fear of losing his son in case of divorce. But there was no way he could ever trust her again. She was his best friend, and he would die to protect her. Why? Why? Why, Tammy? He shouted. The evening fog began to cover the ground, making everything around difficult to distinguish. He leaned back on a fallen log and closed his eyes. It is not known how long he lay there, but when he woke up, it was already getting dark, and some noise woke him up. "Hey, are you okay?" asked a sweet female voice nearby. Turning, he saw her emerging from the fog. She looked much younger than him. Her light green eyes sparkled above her cute nose and pearly white teeth. "Not really, but I'm harmless, so don't worry. Thank you for asking." She smiled and walked out into the clearing. "Looks like you need someone to talk to." Tom looked around and did not see any vehicle that could take her to this remote place. "How old are you?" The pale-skinned woman wore a knee-length white dress and was barefoot. Her long golden hair hung down her chest. These seemed to be the only clothes she wore. "I'm 18, she replied, moving closer to him on the fallen log. "My name is Lizzie, and I'm here to help you. I know you're wondering why Tammy cheated on you." Her face seemed familiar. "She sent you to beg for mercy for her adultery? How did you find me?" She placed her hand with long white nails on his right forearm. "It doesn't matter. What matters is that your heart is broken." "That's for sure," he sighed, feeling a warm tingle from her touch on his bare skin. He looked into her light green eyes and was hypnotized. "Why did she do this? Doesn't she love me? Don't I please her sexually?" "Tom, she loves you more than a bee loves honey. You and Timmy are her whole life. But sometimes things happen that are overwhelming, and you don't realize it until it's over. Now she is destroyed because she hurt you." He pulled away from her touch. "Now tell me who you are and how. How did you get here? How do you know the names of my wife and son?" She smiled. "I told you my name, and I'm here to help." His mind was tired and weak. He closed his eyes and felt her touch on his hand. She kissed him. "Wait, you shouldn't." They made love. "Go home tomorrow and talk to your wife. She loves you very much and made a mistake by trusting your friend. He took advantage of her weakness and made her forget her love for you for a few minutes." "I know, but how can I be sure she won't do it again?" "How can she be sure that you will never do this again?" "She can, because I was angry with her. You are so desirable, I drank too much beer, and I will never even think about being with another." He fell silent, realizing that this beautiful, mysterious woman had him wrapped around her finger. "You did this to set me up." He grabbed his clothes and shyly turned to get dressed. A few minutes later, when he turned around, she and her dress were gone. What the hell just happened? He tried to stand up, but his tired body and clouded mind caused him to fall face down into the soft sand. Tammy tried not to cry when Timmy was around, but her son knew something bad had happened. "Everything will be fine, baby." Her life suddenly turned upside down because of 20 minutes of betrayal. As much as she wanted to blame Mark, she knew she could have stopped him if she wanted to. Being alone for so long without sex had created a void that had taken over her mind. "I want to play ball, but Dad isn't here." Timmy was capricious. "So you'll have to do it." He tossed her a large baseball glove, but she put it on backwards. Timmy laughed for the first time since she got home. The light of the morning sun filtered through the willow trees, filling the shadows. Tom's eyelids slowly lifted, and his head was bursting with pain. Damn, he had never been so drunk that his head throbbed and hurt so much. He quickly felt his stomach let go and managed to empty its contents behind the log. Wiping his lips and chin, he sat up and looked around. "Where the hell am I?" He looked across the Mississippi and saw a large ship with people waving at him. "Damn you all," he shouted, giving them the middle finger. He was still angry that he found out about his wife's cheating. "Best friend, damn it," he said angrily. He remembered carrying his wounded friend across the hot desert until his legs gave way. But he led them to a small road where a passing army truck stopped, gave them water, and took them to a medical center. They vowed to always be there for each other. "How did that work?" Tom sighed. He washed himself in the river, and suddenly it dawned on him. He turned around to see if Lizzie was hiding or if she was just a wet dream. It seemed like everything was so real, but where could she come from? How did she find out about Tammy's betrayal, and how did she disappear so quickly? "I cheated on my wife," he cried, sitting on a log and covering his face with his hands. "Damn it, I need to go home." Later that day, Tammy was surprised when her phone rang with Mark's number. "You have the nerve to call here. I was just told that you quit. Are you okay?" "Damn you, Mark." "Oh, that's right. I already did, and my husband left me. And now I'm afraid he'll do something stupid. Are you afraid that I will tell Mary?" "Crap, you do not know. Tom came here the morning after he got back, and we talked about it, and I confessed." "And you're still alive? If I were you, I would leave the city. Mary knows." She considered Mary a good friend, but knew that it was probably over now. "I didn't get away with it. He hit me, and when Mary found out, she hit me too. I'm very sorry for what I did, and I hope that one day you can forgive me. I lost my best friend, probably my wife, and the person I respect so much, you. I should have resisted and told you to leave. It's my fault, but I don't want to see you or talk to you anymore. I could wish you a good life, but it will never happen." She disconnected the call. Again, she left Tom a message. "Tom, please call or text me that you are okay. We need to talk even if you shout and call me names. There is nothing between me and Mark, and it has nothing to do with you as a lover. Even if you don't come back to me, come back for Timmy. I will go to my parents as soon as you return. Please, please let me know you're okay. I love you." Tom got to his car and followed the road back to the old lady's store. It was closed, and there was a sign on the door. "Closed today, open tomorrow." He wanted to ask the old lady if she knew a woman named Lizzie, but the store was closed, and he couldn't wait another day. On the way home, he kept trying to remember the details of sex with a beautiful girl in a white dress. Was she real or just his drunken fantasy? Tammy and Timmy were sitting on the deck eating sandwiches for lunch when she heard the side gate open. She stood up, praying that it was her husband. "Volume, it's you." She saw Mary's face behind the bushes and sat down again. Mary tried not to yell dirty words at her ex-girlfriend, mainly because Timmy was there. She only knew her husband's version of what happened. Mark claimed that Tammy seduced him. "Hi, Tammy. Can we talk for a few minutes alone?" "Of course. I'll set Timmy up with a video game inside." "Let's go, baby." Mary sat with her hands clasped, waiting to talk to the woman who had ruined her marriage. A few minutes later, Tammy returned with 2 glasses of lemonade. "No thanks. This is not a friendly visit," Mary said coldly, looking at another, equally broken woman. It was obvious that they both cried a lot. "Why, Tammy? How could you?" "First of all, I am very sorry about what happened. There is no worthy excuse or reason why this happened. I could tell that I was very lonely and suffering without sex on the platform. I could tell I was blackout drunk. I could tell we were all excited and happy because we had achieved our annual goals and were about to receive a huge bonus. There was no planning or decision to meet and have sex, at least on my part." "True," Mary laughed. "Mark said you seduced him." "Of course, that bastard turned it all on me. I was sleeping in my cabin, and he knocked on the door holding a bottle of wine. You've seen me before, and you know I can't handle alcohol. Before I realized what was happening, he was already kissing me. Then I made the biggest mistake of my life." "So he didn't try to stop you?" "No. I swear on my father's grave, he had this plan when he came, and after we did it, he wanted to continue. I kicked him out." "Why didn't you keep this a secret?" You should have known that Tom and I would never accept cheating. If I thought sex was going to happen, I would have slammed the door in his face. I was in holiday mode. I knew I couldn't keep it a secret. Mary's eyes filled with tears. I will never take him back because he has done something like this before. He tried to seduce one of my college roommates while I was home for the weekend. He got her drunk and began to undress her when another neighbor arrived earlier than expected. We were in an exclusive relationship, but apparently not in his opinion. After a few months, he convinced me that it was alcohol and swore that he would never cheat on me again. Who knows how many others there were? Is this your first time, Tammy, or have there been others? It pains me that you ask this, but if I were you, I would ask the same thing. This is my first and only time, but for Tom it probably doesn't matter. I think I lost the only man I've ever loved to a drunken sexual adventure. Plus, I lost my best friend and Tom's family who treated me like their daughter. I quit yesterday, regardless of whether Tom forgives me. Mary had heard enough and simply stood up quietly and walked out the side gate. She heard, sorry, but continued walking. What's next? Tammy sighed, leaning back and letting her arms fall to the sides of her chair. A week ago, her life on the platform had been so calm. She was tired but excited at the thought of returning home to her wonderful husband and son. Now her world has turned into a nightmare. Tom called his brother Chet and asked if he had time to talk. He stopped at Walmart to buy a cheap change of clothes and toiletries. After a long ride into the city, he stopped at his brother's house. He was waiting at the front door. "What happened, brother?" "My damn world exploded," Tom said with sad eyes. He always admired Chet and hoped that he would give him some advice. Events, Casey with the kids at Mom's all day. He led his younger, but no lesser brother into the kitchen. Beer, he had never seen him so shabby and depressed before. "Is Tammy back from the platform?" "Let's sit down. I didn't sleep well and drank too much last night. I need a shower. I have clean clothes in this bag." Later, after the shower, Chet wanted to hear Tom's story, but wanted him to relax a little. They drank a bottle of beer each before Tom sat back. "I found out Tammy cheated on me." "Oh my gosh, Tammy, you are sure?" "Yes, the one with whom she cheated confessed, and she herself almost admitted it. He said it was just one time when they were both drunk, but how can I forgive that after Mom did the same thing to Dad?" Chet remembered how he and Tom walked in on their mother with another man when they came home early from the rain at a football game. "Tammy is not a mom. We know she cheated on Dad while he worked nights at the fire department. Did she say what happened or why? Do I know this guy?" "Mark. That goat you carried across the desert to safety. Is that the same Mark?" "Yes, the same one. I physically explained to him how angry I was, and Mary literally threw a book at him. I had to leave before I killed him. I haven't really talked to Tammy, but she texted me saying she did it." "So this is the end. We both swore that we would never marry a woman who cheated on us," Chet sighed. But Tom did not agree. "Are you going to return her?" "I'm not sure. See, I think I could do the same thing." "Damn, Tom, did you get your revenge? Some woman you picked up at a bar, and how can you say that you could do it?" "I went crazy after leaving Mark's house and went to the river to calm down before I did something stupid. I had to remember Timmy and not make mistakes that could lead to his loss. I found myself on a remote stretch of river on the West Bank, finishing a box of beer that's when things started to get weird. A beautiful woman in a white dress walked out of the woods. The strangest thing is that she knew my name and Timmy's name. She knew that Tammy had cheated, that she still loved me and was in a terrible state." "Are you sure you didn't take illegal substances?" Chet asked with concern. "Continue." "No, just a gallon of beer, maybe. Anyway, she sat down on the log next to me, and before I knew what was happening, we were having sex. You know, maybe you fell and hit your head. I mean, you look exhausted and dazed. It could be your imagination playing with you. But it was so real. I couldn't even imagine something so wonderful. Plus, she had a pirate flag tattooed on her butt. I think you need to go to the hospital for an examination. Something is wrong here. My friend Connie, a physician assistant, is working today. I'll call and see if she has time. Thanks, Chet. I'll owe you. Tammy tried to stay calm and positive, especially for Timmy, who kept asking when Daddy would be home. Maybe soon, she said, having no idea whether he would return at all. She knew about his mother's infidelities and understood that this might make it difficult for Tom to forgive her. As she started preparing dinner, her neighbor called. "Hi, Betty." Betty said, "Tammy, my friend Connie just called from the hospital and said Tom is there and being seen in the emergency room. Is everything okay? Oh God, I need to go there as soon as possible. Will you look after Tummy for me?" Connie shined a small light into Tom's eyes to make sure his pupils responded equally to the light. She ran her gloved fingers over his head, checking for any bumps or redness. "Does anything hurt when I touch it?" "No, I feel fine. My vision is fine, no headaches or dizziness. My main problem is that I can't remember what happened for some time yesterday. Basically, what I remember doesn't make any logical sense." "Well, why don't you tell me the whole story? I finish work in 30 minutes and can talk then. I don't see any physical problems," Connie asked. She had met Tom a few times at Chet's barbecues and thought he was cute. After breaking up with her fiancé of 5 years, she may have wanted to meet a new guy. "Just wait here and I'll be right out." Connie smiled. "I think you like her," Tammy said, walking up behind her husband and brother-in-law. "Hey, Chet." "Hi, Tammy. Listen, I'm going outside to get some fresh air and think you and I need to talk." Chet quickly left. "Why are you here?" Tammy asked, concerned. "What did you do?" She thought he might have hurt himself. "My brother was worried, so I decided to listen to him and get tested." "Why are you here?" He barked at her. "I heard you were here, and I was worried about you. I love you, Tom, and the last few days have been terrible while I've been worrying about you. Believe me, what happened was a terrible mistake, and I swear to everyone dear to me, it will never happen again. I quit my job." He did not scold her or call her names, but looked deep in thought. "Are you okay?" She reached out and touched his hand, but he pulled it away. "Did you really quit?" "Yes, I've been thinking about it because I can't stand being away from Timmy and you for so many weeks of the year. I will answer all your questions. Come home with me. Chet's got my car and I'm going to stay there. I'll stop by tomorrow afternoon to see Timmy when he gets home from school." "When will we talk?" "You know about. Why did my best friend and wife decide to sleep with each other?" He had never swore at her like that before, and it felt like a slap in the face. He saw the shock on her face and wished he had held back. She quickly stepped away from him and tried to find a chair. Her legs and body shook from the sudden attack of hatred directed at her. She gasped as she missed a chair and fell to the floor. Her head snapped back and hit the hard leg of the chair. "Tom, oh God, it hurts so much." Tom forgot everything except his love for her and knelt down next to her. When he leaned over, she put her arm around his shoulders. "Tammy, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Where does it hurt? Do you need help?" "This is my heart, Tom. I love you so much, and I'm afraid I've lost you. Please forgive me because I can't live without you." "Is she all right?" Connie asked, seeing Tom's wife on the floor. "Yeah, we don't need your help right now. You can leave," Tammy said sharply, looking at the large woman. Chet returned to see Tammy sitting on the floor, glaring at Connie. "Oh, sorry for interrupting." "Chet, stay. I think it's time for us to leave, and I'll take Tammy home. Follow me and take me back to you," Tom said softly to kill the tension. "Stay with me tonight, and I'll take you tomorrow to pick up your car. We have a lot to discuss, and Timmy really wants to see you." "You speak, I will listen." She knew it would be difficult, but it had to be done. Chet helped her up, while Tom walked over to Connie to thank her for her help. "Thank you, Connie, for your help." "You're welcome, and I'd love to hear what happened to you last night." She took his hand and wrote her phone number on his palm. Call me. When Tammy went to the bathroom, Chet asked Tom, "Are you sure about this? I thought you wanted to cool down before talking to her." "I need to hear from her that she willingly slept with the bastard. I can't imagine what excuses she'll have." But he had an idea that they might be the same as his fantasies about Lizzie. But was it a fantasy? During the ride home, Tom and Tammy constantly looked at each other, but remained silent. Tom finally asked, "Where's Timmy?" "Betty came and is looking after him. This nurse gave you her number, didn't she?" "Yes, she wants to help me. She says I'm fine physically, but—" She interrupted him. "I know what I did makes you hate me. I hate myself now and am very ashamed. If I could take it all back, I would." He interrupted her. "But you can't, and I'm not sure I can ever trust you again. Were you going to tell me or just hide it? Or were you two planning to continue this when you returned to the platform?" "God, no. I will never be with another man again, especially not him. I don't know exactly why I did it. Of course, I was alone on the platform, but I've been working there for 2 years now. Wine was a factor, but I had drunk wine around men before and was never tempted. Other men tried to hit on me, but I rejected all their attempts. I promised to go to counseling to understand why I did this the one and only time. I know I trusted Mark when I let him into my cabin that day. This allowed him to overcome my moral barriers, and my desires took precedence over reason. I never want to see him, and I pray that Mary will forgive me someday." "What would you do if I did the same to you?" Tom asked, still unsure whether Lizzie was real or a fantasy. "First of all, I know you wouldn't do this." He interrupted her. "You don't know, because I thought the same about you." She held it in, but then burst into tears. "This is all one big nightmare. Tammy, the reason I went to the hospital was because I had a dream, or I thought it was a dream. In this dream, I was having sex with another woman, and it was so real. I remember every detail and everything we did. But we can't remember the details, right? You know? About dreams. Where have you been?" She stopped crying, wiped her eyes, and sat up. "Did you have sex with anyone else?" He turned away from her. "No, I do not think so." She saw it and gasped, "Oh God, Tom, there's a red mark on your neck, just below your right ear." He stopped her car at the side of the road and turned on the overhead lights. Opening his seat belt, he turned to the rearview mirror and saw this. "Crap." She leaned back and crossed her arms. "We definitely need to talk." Both were silent as they pulled up to their double garage. As soon as he turned off the car, the door to the house opened and Timmy looked out. Seeing Dad, he started jumping and waving both arms. "Daddy came home, Miss Betty, Daddy's home." Tom ran out of the car and ran to his son. Tears flowed from his eyes as they embraced. "Dad, why are you crying? I'm glad you're home. Maybe now Mom will stop crying." Tammy stayed away, happy that Tom was back home. Now she had hope that their marriage could survive. She knew she shouldn't be mad at him for being intimate with another woman, but she literally felt sick at the thought of him kissing and having sex with someone else. She realized that he probably felt the same way. They thanked Betty for looking after Timmy and assured her that Tom was fine. Timmy finally fell asleep in his dad's arms, who carried him to bed. When he returned to the living room, Tammy was sipping a glass of Pinot Noir. "Would you like a beer?" she asked. "No, I had enough beer to last me a while. I want to hear everything about what happened on the platform. All details. Tom, this will only hurt you and make everything worse." "I'm going to pack my things and go to company." He started to stand up, but she grabbed his wrist. "Okay, stop. I'll tell you everything. But before I start, I want to say that I love you very much, and what I did has nothing to do with you. I won't lie, sex with Mark was good, but not as good as with you. It was like being in another place and time, and I was someone else. Please don't say anything until I'm done. It will be very difficult for me to tell this." She raised her glass of wine and downed the rest of it in one gulp. As you know, we have been working long hours to increase oil production. It was 10 straight days, mostly double shifts. All we did was work and sleep. The day before the helicopter arrived, we left our shift and went to our cabins to sleep and pack for an early flight the next morning. So when did you invite Mark to your cabin? She held out her hand to stop him. Please let me finish. I fell on the bed and instantly fell asleep. I had been sleeping for several hours when someone knocked on the door. It was Mark, and he was holding a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Since he was such a close friend, I didn't care that he saw me in a long t-shirt and panties. I took a clean t-shirt and sweatpants and quickly took a shower. I realize now that he planned to get me drunk and sleep with me. I wanted to have sex with you. She refrained from answering. We had a few drinks, a lot more than I remember, when I spilled some on my t-shirt. At that moment, I was no longer myself. How convenient that it wasn't you, but someone else. I'm not looking for excuses. Please, honey, you wanted to hear what happened, and I'm trying to tell you. I'm ashamed, uncomfortable, and hurt by this. Do you want me to continue? He finished his wine and leaned back. Yes. She took a deep breath. How much detail do you want to know? All. And at that moment, I also entered the game. She could barely speak as she told her husband the details about sex with his best friend. No, and it was just one time. I realized what I had done and ran to the bathroom. He didn't want to leave, so I threatened to shout that he did it without my consent, and he left. I haven't seen him since we left the airport. That bastard told Mary that I seduced him. Have you spoken to Mary? I bet she wasn't too friendly. Neither would I if you had sex with her. Wait, is she the one who left the mark on your neck? I'll pretend I didn't hear this question. Who did it? I guess you got your revenge on me, huh? Don't translate this on to me. I fell asleep by the river. Any damn insect could have bitten me. Would you ever tell me? If I hadn't seen signs of sex, would you have continued to sleep with him? Were there others? Timmy is my son. I've never had sex with anyone but you, and you know Timmy is your little clone. I was going to tell you because it was killing me. Oh God, darling, what are we going to do? Timmy needs both of his parents. I will never drink alcohol again. I'll go to counseling, do whatever. Timmy was the main reason he was here. The first thing he had to do was find out if Lizzie was real or if she was a fantasy. Now I need to sleep. I'll go to the guest room. But let me show you how much I love you. I don't want to touch you. It's all very confusing and I need to think it through. She watched him go upstairs and heard the door to the guest room close. She had never seen him so depressed before, and her cheating with Mark was the reason for it. She couldn't talk to anyone because Mary was always her support. However, she was sure that it was not an insect bite on his neck. His affair with another woman could save their marriage. An hour later, she walked past his door and heard him talking on the phone. I don't know what to do, Chet. I have to find that woman and find out if she is real or if it was a dream. Of course, if you have time, I will take you to the place where I got drunk by the river. How about tomorrow morning? I'll pick you up around 10. Great. Good night. I'll check to see if she's real too, Tammy whispered as she walked back into the master bedroom. Tammy heard him in the kitchen around 8:30 am the next day and found his phone charging on the living room dresser. She made sure the Find My Phone app was active and checked that it was working on her phone. Good morning, dear. I asked Betty if she could watch Timmy so we could talk again today. She said he loved her chocolate chip cookies and would be fine, so we have time to talk again. I have business today with a company, but plan dinner later. Nothing special, maybe just pizza. I'll call you when I go home. Now I need a shower. Tammy waited until he was in the shower and quietly walked into the bathroom and to the shower door. He winced when he heard her sigh. Oh my God. Damn, Tammy, what are you? He stopped when her eyes stared at his ass. What? He turned around and saw red scratches on his white buttock. What the heck? You bastard, You actually slept with another woman and blamed me when you came back. I think this is the end. I didn't plan to sleep with Mark, but who did you do it on purpose? With a woman of easy virtue. She turned and quickly left. Timmy was already up and watching TV when she came downstairs. Damn, so she's real, Tom sighed. But I was drunk and angry. She was so desirable, I drank too much beer, and I will never think about another one again. He quickly washed himself, dried himself, shaved, and got dressed. When he came downstairs, Timmy and she had already left. He tried to call her, but heard her phone vibrate on the table next to him. On the way to the river, Chet was silent, listening to his brother's story. Well, I've had dreams before, but never with anything like this. Are we getting close to the beach? Yes, but I can't remember exactly where the turn onto the dirt road is. Let's stop at the small store where I bought the beer. There was an old lady there who listened to me and told me not to make any decisions until I calmed down. She gave me directions to this secluded beach on the river. Wait, this is the store. Is this a store? Chet whispered, following his brother. He heard the bell ring as the door opened and saw an old gray-haired woman who stood up from behind the counter. A small old television with a rabbit ear antenna was mounted on the wall behind her. Hello, ma'am, Tom smiled. Remember me? I'm old, but I haven't lost my memory. How are you, Tom, and who is that handsome man behind you? Chet stepped forward and extended his hand. Her small, wrinkled fingers fell into his palm. He felt a tingling sensation and let go of her hand. Wow, what was it? She smiled. Probably static electricity. What can I do for you guys? 6 packs of cold beer and answers. She giggled. She came to see you, didn't she? She slowly walked to the refrigerator and took out a 6-pack of cold beer. Tammy waited about 20 minutes and turned on her Find My Phone app. She saw Tom's car heading north across the river. Cajun woman of easy virtue, huh? She frowned. These people are the ones you don't want to mess with. She left Timmy with her neighbor Betty and decided to meet this woman Tom slept with. She was driving quickly to catch up with him when she saw a young woman in a white dress coming out of the forest onto the road. She braked suddenly and managed to stop a few feet away. She thought the woman would be scared, but she smiled. Tammy's heart was beating fast as she opened the door and walked out. What the hell? I had to stop you because Tom is in my grandmother's store. You are her, isn't it? You seduced my husband. I should have run you over. I should apologize, but I did it for you. He was ready to leave your marriage, so I turned it around. You saw the tracks, I believe. But how did you know? Did he tell you what I did? No, I was in the back room of the store, and I heard him telling everything to my grandmother. I knew where she sent him, and I went there to meet him. To have sex with him, Tammy said. Yes, that's what we do. We, women of the Burdock family from the days of the pirates, we do everything to help couples save their marriage. In this case, the best way was to have sex with your husband. This is fucking weird. Do you have a husband? Where are your mom and dad? No dad, as far as I know. My mom went on a trip, and I had to replace her this time. We have a small house near the store and the beach, where I met Tom. It suddenly dawned on Tommy. Tom got you pregnant. This is how you Burdock women continue your lineage. What if Tom didn't get you pregnant? Oh, he did. We have an internal negative charge that speeds up this process. In this case, I saved your marriage and provided for our next generation. What if it's a boy? Will not be. Burdock women only give birth to girls. I need you to come with me and tell Tom this strange story. I think I should be angry, but this could save my marriage. Actually, my mom is in the store right now with that cute other man who came with Tom. Oh shit, don't tell me. She's going to. Well, yes, that's what we do, we Burdock women. What did you say your name is? Elizabeth, but everyone calls me Lizzie. She hugged the girl and got into the car to pick up her husband from the store. She watched as Lizzie got on the bike hidden in the forest and rode forward. Her dress lifted up and Tammy saw the pirate flag tattoo on her ass. Tom was sitting on a wooden bench in front of the store and drinking beer. After the old woman's story about the Burdock women, he would have needed whiskey, but he wasn't here. A blonde woman in her 30s walked into the store, and before he knew what was happening, she took Chet by the hand and led him back. "Don't worry about him. She will take care of him," the grandmother grinned. He was wondering what to say to his wife when she pulled up in her SUV and stopped in front of him. She rolled down the window. "Hey, cowboy, need a ride home?" "What? What are you doing here?" "I'm taking you home from these crazy women." "How do you know about?" "Sit down." "But what about Chet?" Tammy laughed. "Leave the keys in the car. He probably won't be able to drive until tomorrow morning." He sat down and fastened his seatbelt. "I am so sorry. I didn't plan this, but I cheated on you." "I know," she smiled before kissing him. "Let's go home." "I need whiskey." "Me too." As they turned the first corner, Tom sat up straight and noticed a young blonde riding a bicycle towards them. "Wait, that's her." Tammy waved and Lizzie waved back. "You know her?" "What did the old lady tell you?" "Okay, we'll discuss this damn confusing issue when we get home." Chet didn't know that his little brother had left. A hot, middle-aged woman came out of the back room of the store and stood next to him. When he looked into her eyes, he froze and became lost. Hi, I'm Chet." "Annabelle," she purred, reaching out and touching him. As soon as their fingers touched, she turned and led him back. "But, SHH, let me show you the cute little beach along the river." 20 minutes later, all Chet knew was immense pleasure. "Tell me how you met Lizzie," he begged. "You two set me up?" "Never met her or talked to her until today. All I can say is that I changed and so did you." "Yes, but you planned." "I did not plan." Timmy was waiting for them when they arrived at the house. He immediately noticed that his parents were holding hands as they walked towards the house. He ran across the road from Betty's house and unclenched their hands, taking them in his own. "You know we have a lot of work to do, right?" Tom said later that night as they lay in their big bed. "I hope we can make it through." Chet confessed when Casey saw the marks on his body. She was about to kick him out, but instead she ran upstairs. He was at a loss and sat for an hour before she returned. "I'm so sorry, honey. I was seduced, and it will never happen again," he said quietly. She walked over and sat on his lap. "I also have a confession. One night, while you were out hunting with your father, Mark, Tom's friend, came in, and everything got out of control. So I think we're even." Mark stayed in town for his children, but only saw them every other weekend. He was sad to lose his job and his best friend, but he couldn't help his predatory instincts. He was also sad when his divorce from Mary was finalized, so he did what he knew best. He met and seduced a middle-aged woman. His mistake was not knowing that her father was Anthony. This time he didn't have a friend to carry him out of the swamp meadowland to a safe place. Now he rests with the fishes. Tom and Tammy still had problems, but were able to establish family life with their son. A few months later, on his birthday, Tammy was in bed, wearing only a white dress on all fours. When she heard him coming out of the bathroom, she said, "Pick up my dress, cowboy." He smiled until he saw her tattoo. "Oh my God." She giggled, "Not too much. Be hopeful, it's not real." Subscribe to our channel so that your love doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think, click to the next one.